Thanks for joining us. I'm Lila, and this is Teen Kids News. Here's our top story for the week. It's probably the biggest decision we'll ever have to make in our teen years, and it'll no doubt have a major effect on the rest of our lives. I'm talking about deciding what path we want to pursue after high school. Ava's report may open your eyes to career opportunities you might not be aware of.
Most high school grads have a number of options. For example, they can attend a 4-year college, community college, tech school, join the military, or go straight into the workforce. Maybe even start their own business. Regardless of what path we choose, just about all of us pretty much want the same things from our careers.
I think it's important to have a good salary, but also understand that doing something you love. So being able to go to your job every day and not hate it, you know?
I'd like my job to be interesting.
In a career, I want to make the world a better place for those around me, because I feel that is the main goal every person should have, is to make the world better for at least one person when they leave it.
I think a positive work environment is like my number one.
A job that's interesting, offers positive work-life balance, and will afford a good income. The all too common belief is that to achieve those goals, you need a
4-year college.
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 Go to college.
Go to college. That's what everyone will tell you.
That's not necessarily so. Sure, for certain jobs, you need at least a degree from a traditional 4-year college. But there are a surprising number of jobs that don't require that. They're often the unsung heroes, the men and women who make and create with their hands, tools, and machines. From construction to industry to the service sector, even in the creative fields. These are people who have the vital skills to build our world and keep it running. Unfortunately, for many reasons, these skilled workers are almost becoming an endangered species. Every year, fewer and fewer young people join what's called the skilled labor workforce. To explain why that's a major concern, let me walk you through some of the numbers. Currently, there are about 35 million skilled workers in the US, and while the average age of all working Americans is 44, those in the skilled workforce are far older, with an average age of 55, which means they're closer to retirement. Very close, in fact, because the average skilled worker retires at 61. So, if new workers were entering the trades at the same rate older workers are retiring, that would be one thing, but they're not. For every 5 skilled workers that retire, only 1 person enters the skilled workforce. Over the next 4 years, just in the area of manufacturing, about 2.5 million jobs will go unfilled. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Experts predict that more than 11 million jobs will not be able to find skilled workers. And that will have a harmful impact on all of our futures, as well as on the future of our country. But there is an organization that's working to change that. I'll tell you how, when Teen Kids News continues. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm continuing my report on the alarming shortfall of young people joining the skilled workforce. Whether it's building a house, designing graphics, working as a chef, an audio engineer, an electrician, a barber, a nursing assistant, an auto mechanic, or any of dozens of other jobs, they all need specially trained workers. The problem is that not enough of us are planning to learn a professional trade. And that's where the Skilled Careers Coalition, or SCC, comes in. The SCC wants to inspire teens to consider paths to success that don't require a traditional college degree. To discuss this is Mark Hedstrom. He is the co-executive director of the Skilled Careers Coalition. Joining him is Paige Knowles. She is a professional plumber as well as a strong advocate for careers in the skilled workforce. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, hi.
Mark, why aren't more of us interested in pursuing careers as skilled workers?
I think part of it is just how we've talked about a skilled trade, what used to be considered a blue collar job, or those careers that didn't require a college degree. And we've really focused on the last 30 years of focusing kids towards college and going to get a 4-year degree.
In fact, a congressional committee held hearings looking into that very issue.
For decades, Congress has spent billions without pause pushing students into undergraduate and graduate programs after high school. And you know what? Getting a college degree is great, but that's not going to be the best fit for everyone, and we need to acknowledge that.
The fact that we don't have enough skilled workers filling jobs we need to be filled, and we have a lot of students who are coming out of college with a ton of debt. So the real challenge here is how do we change that paradigm and focus on skilled careers and the opportunities it can provide?
Paige, you're an example of someone who decided to focus on a skilled career. You became a plumber.
Yes, it all started in high school. I took classes in the plumbing and heating program, and since then I've broadened my horizon into construction management and heating and air conditioning, and there's so much to learn within the trades. I love working with my hands. It's super fulfilling, and I feel accomplished at the end of the day, and it's a great career to be in.
And Mark, you can make a pretty good wage as a skilled worker, right?
You can. If you look at some recent data from PayScale, if you look at the median income for a plumber, it's $80,000 a year. That's significant. And if you think about the fact that you're not assuming a lot of debt to then get paid $80,000 a year, that's money in your pocket.
Paige, when you are not working as a plumber, you're a bit of a cheerleader. You give talks to inspire teens to explore opportunities as skilled workers. What are some of the things that you tell them?
Yes, so I actually have a published book series, as well as I go around to schools and camps and different organizations and events to spread my story, share my message, and encourage students of any gender or age that they can do these career paths that they might have thought that they couldn't do. So especially women, they can work in the construction industry, and it's a fulfilling and purposeful job and career, and they're viable career options.
You said especially women because you are especially passionate when it comes to women and girls. So tell us about the construction camp you run.
It's a week-long summer camp, and it's free. We teach teens or girls from ages 12 to 18 how to work with their hands and more about the construction industry. Day one, they start building walls, and they put electrical, plumbing, HVAC inside of them. They learn to drywall and mason the outside of the walls, and we get to connect with industry professionals and other women who work in the industry. And it's a really great opportunity to expand the horizon of teens in a local community.
That sounds really cool. In your opinion, Paige, is there any skilled job that a guy can do that a girl can't?
Definitely not.
Didn't think so. Surveys show that more than any previous generation, teens today are more interested in being their own boss and even owning their own companies. Basically, they want to be entrepreneurs. Paige, you're proof that you can be a skilled worker and also be an entrepreneur.
Yes, I think this is one industry that's really perfect to be able to take that leadership and have your own creativity and own a business where you are needed and your skill is needed. You can determine your hours, your wage, and what you do with your time and your skill.
If you're thinking about work-life balance, economic stability, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, these are great opportunities for you to look at a skilled career and say, this might be a better option for me than going to a 4-year college.
Good points. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
No question. College is a good way to put you on the road to a successful career, but it's not the only way. You can have a great career without the high debt that often goes along with the higher education. Not to mention a career that's probably a pretty safe bet to be in demand for years to come. To find out more, check out the SCC's website, skilledcareers.org. I'm Ava for Teen Kids News.
We've got lots more coming up, so stick around. And during this break, please take a sec to like, follow, and subscribe to our socials so you never miss out on Teen Kids News. We'll be right back. Whether it comes from parents, teachers, friends, or even just from yourself, many of us live with lots of pressure. Sometimes pressure can be good, especially if it motivates us to try harder. But pressure can also have a negative effect, especially if it makes us so afraid of failing that we don't even want to try. This next story is about someone who credits failure for their success.
He's been called the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan is a legend. He played 15 seasons in the NBA, 13 of them with the Chicago Bulls, winning 6 NBA national championships. No question, he's basketball royalty. On the heels of his line of wildly popular shoes, Jordan's often referred to as his airness. Hard to imagine what basketball would be if Michael Jordan never brought his amazing agility and charisma to the game. And yet, it might be even harder to believe that when he was a sophomore, Jordan failed to make the varsity team. Instead, he was assigned to JV. He could have given up, but Jordan kept his head and his heart in the game. According to his high school coach, JV turned out to be a good thing. Jordan got a lot more playing time than he would have gotten as a 5'10" sophomore on varsity. It gave him more time and experience to hone his skills. And in his junior year, he made varsity. He would go on to set sports records, win 4 gold medals with the U.S. Olympic team, and be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Jordan has said, "I can't accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying." Experts agree with Jordan. If you're hit hard by a failure, they say it's important to remind yourself that failing every now and then is just a part of life. With If at First You Don't Succeed, I'm Emily for Teen Kids News.
We can all use some advice on how to do our best in school. So, check out our Make the Grade report.
Giving a presentation in class should be a lot more than just reading your paper out loud. Here are some ideas for preparing a powerful presentation. First, think about your audience. Are they already familiar with your subject, or will you have to explain every detail? Then, put an outline onto index cards. While using a smartphone may seem smart, it probably isn't. That's because it's usually more difficult to scroll and keep your place than it is to read from cards. And don't forget to number your cards in case you drop them just before you start. If instead of index cards, you have to read from a written report, you'll find it helpful to underline the key points. Visuals like charts, maps, and pictures can really bring your presentation to life, but be sure to make the information big enough for your audience to see, especially those sitting in the back. Give visuals the same numbers as the index cards they go with, and circle the number on your index card so you remember to refer to your visuals. And practice. A great technique is to record yourself on video. You'll then be able to see where you're strong and where you need extra work. And here's one last tip. Even if your subject is serious, before you start, smile. And take a moment to look around the room like you're happy to be there. Your audience will think you're confident even if you have butterflies in your stomach. I'm Kristen, here to help you make the grade.
There's a saying that everything is bigger in Texas. That's probably because Texas is so big. To give you an idea of just how big the Lone Star State is, think of this. Texas is bigger than any country in Western Europe. And that's the truth, y'all.
Whether from drinking alcohol or using any type of drugs, driving under the influence is dangerous. And the National Road Safety Foundation wants you to remember that.
Hey, I can't drive. Can you come pick me up?
Because you're electing who's representing you. You can't complain about something if you're not going out there making your voice heard.
Coming up next on Teen Kids News, paying respect to the stars and stripes, military style. We'll be right back.
Most of us have been doing it since kindergarten. We stand up, face the American flag, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. A similar ceremony takes place every day. across the US and even around the world.
Actually, it happens twice a day. In the morning, precisely at 8 a.m., and then again at sunset. The ceremony is called Colors, and it's a time-honored tradition of the U.S. military.
About 5 minutes until sunset, you'll have the entire U.S. military drawn to the flag to pay their respects. So this is the captain's chair. This is where he'll sit when we're at sea.
Lieutenant Kelly Harris serves on the guided missile destroyer, USS The Sullivans.
During Colors, specifically on a U.S. Navy installation, you're expected to come to attention, stop driving your car, stop walking, turn towards the flag, and pay your respects. So if you're a military member in uniform, you'll salute, and if you're a service member not in uniform or just a regular civilian, you'll stand at attention. When sunset occurs, we will be drawn to attention, and the two sailors will ceremoniously lower the flag as the national anthem is playing behind them. The Navy observes colors so that twice a day, the U.S. military can pay their respects to the flag, show their patriotism, and everything that it stands for. And after it is lowered, they will fold it ceremoniously.
To me, it means everything that embodies what's proud to be an American.
Although Colors is an American tradition, it was inspired by the British.
So in the late 1700s, the British Navy began having mutinies across their navy. And in order to instill pride and patriotism within their sailors, the British Navy created this ceremony where sailors were able to observe colors and kind of regain that sense of pride in their country again. The U.S. Navy admired that ceremony and decided to replicate it within our own military. And we have been conducting that ceremony ever since.
When I first observed colors, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride for my country, for what I was doing as a commissioned officer, and for all the men and women that serve alongside me. It still gives me the same feeling.
So my dad was in the U.S. Navy and my sister's in the U.S. Navy, and so it has always meant something very personal to me. The very first time I observed it was actually as a little girl, and I just remember feeling the sense of pride for my dad and the family business, essentially. But now as a commissioned officer, I think it means so much more. And I'm just overwhelmed with a sense of pride for this country and my job, and that I'm able to serve.
If you're inspired to do your part to serve your country, there are tons of career opportunities in all 6 branches of the U.S. military. You can get a lot of great information online. And to Lieutenant Harris and everyone else in the U.S. military, from the bottom of our hearts here at Teen Kids News, thank you for your service. I'm Ava.
Each week, Teen Kids News showcases a comment sent in by a viewer. So don't be shy. Send us a short note about the show. Then watch for your debut on national TV. Please include your first name and your town or city. And if you want, send a photo too. We'll be right back with more Teen Kids News.
You can call them cannonball, lion's mane, southern moon, sea nettle, man-o'-war, sea wasp. Just don't call them jellyfish. These funny-looking, almost transparent sea creatures have been floating in seas all around the world for possibly as long as 700 million years. Scientists believe that of all multi-organ animals, they are the oldest. As for why they shouldn't be called jellyfish, it's because to be classified as a fish, a creature must have a backbone. They don't. So there's been a recent push in the scientific community to not call them fish. The preferred term is sea jellies, or just jellies. But unlike these jellies, you don't want to walk on a sea jelly. You can be badly stung stepping on a jelly, even if it's dead. And if you happen to know that one way to treat bee stings is by using, I kid you not, peanut butter, Unfortunately, peanut butter doesn't work with sea jellies. The recommended treatment is soaking in hot water and then applying hydrocortisone cream. Then maybe grab a PB&J sandwich while you wait for the stinging to stop. For Teen Kids News, I'm Katarina.
Well, that wraps up our show for this week, but we'll be back with more Teen Kids News next week. See you then.